Hello, everyone, and welcome back to From Within She Rises. Today, I am joined by the lovely Dr. Liz Burkholder. She is a nurse practitioner, an emotional alchemist who's walking through a very powerful healing journey, choosing to meet her breast cancer diagnosis not with fear, but with deep inner work, natural support, and unwavering self love. This conversation is about sovereignty, it's about transformation, and what it means to rise through adversity from within. As always, let's drop in before we start. Close your eyes and allow your jaw to soften. Taking a slow breath in, just feeling yourself arriving back into your body. Back into that place where your truth lives. Back into the wisdom that healing is not something that lives outside of us, but something that begins when we meet what is within us fully. Taking one more deep breath in, and let's get into this beautiful conversation. I'm going to hand it over to Liz to introduce herself to us today.
Thank you for having me, Jessie. Thank you for that drop in too. That was beautiful. I love it. Okay, so I'm Liz Burkholder. I'm a double board certified nurse practitioner. I am certified as a family nurse practitioner and a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, but I don't practice conventional medicine at all anymore. Um, I actually practice what's called mind body medicine. So I actually ended up getting a PhD in mind body medicine after falling down the rabbit hole of this
Mm.
mind body medicine healing and alternative and holistic healing back in 2016 kind of began that journey. And wow, it's just been quite a journey. The whole thing, my whole life. Like there's a whole there's a song called My Life Ceremony, and I truly believe like the whole thing is just a beautiful journey. But right
Yeah.
now, I know we were going to talk about my breast cancer journey. So do you want me to start with that, or did you have specific questions?
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely start with that. When you first were diagnosed, what awakened inside of you? How did you feel? What was that moment like?
Oh, oh gosh, it's so much. So, okay, so I got the diagnosis June of 2024, so a year and a half ago.
Hmm.
And I will say there's a whole lot of things that led up to this. And as I mentioned, I began doing like mind body work back in 2016 and taking this deeper dive within myself and doing like somatic healing, emotional healing, inner child healing, and actually became a facilitator of those things in my
Hmm.
practice. But so when I got the diagnosis, I wasn't honestly surprised. And I think if we're
Mm.
honest with ourselves, we already know subconsciously there's things going on, right? Like, so I
Hmm.
had a feeling subconsciously there were these things happening and going on. And I was actually in a state of avoidance and denial for a little
Yeah.
while. And even that is a protective, I do parts work, and even that is a very protective part of myself who wasn't ready or couldn't see certain things or look at certain things at the time. And it's all divine timing. Um,
Hmm.
so when I got the diagnosis, I mean, it's a hard hit no matter what, right? Like, so it's a hard hit. It's
Yeah.
like a huge blow. Like, okay, here's this thing that's
Hmm.
like literally right here now, and there is no
Hmm.
denying this. There's no avoidance anymore. Like, we have to fucking face the
Yeah.
shit. Excuse my language. Hopefully, we can curse on here.
Yeah, you can.
Sorry.
There's no
Okay.
children in the room right now.
Oh, sorry. You said there are?
No, no, there's
They're
none.
not. Okay, sorry. So, so I got, and then what happened is, and I'll be honest, I'm going to be completely honest here. I had had some mushrooms in my house for like months because I knew at some
Yeah.
point I was going to be doing a psilocybin journey, and I had not
Yeah.
done one yet, but it had come into my field and awareness, and
Mm.
they were kind of like sitting there, and they were like just there for months actually, and I was like, I'll know when the time is right. I'll know when the right guide is
Mm.
here for me. And I had some
Mhm.
friends who were like, I'll sit with you, I'll guide you, da da da. I was like, oh, it just doesn't feel right. It's not right. And then so after the morning after I got my diagnosis, I woke up and suddenly this voice said, It's time.
Mm.
We're going
Mhm.
in."
Mm.
So, I also know and knew at this point, I had done enough, like, inner work and healing work that I knew everything is energy. Like, Everything's energy. We're all
Yeah.
made up of energy. Everything is energy, and energy is always can always be transformed, transmuted, shifted, like change forms, right?
Mhm.
So, and I also knew enough to know that anything that shows up in the physical body has been there for a while in the field
Mhm.
already for a while, and it's just
Yep.
solidified into the physical body.
Yep.
And that there are deep emotional and energetic ties to that physical thing that's there.
Yep.
So I knew there was okay, there's a lot of stuff to unpack here. I knew, oh, I need to know what's in this. What is this energy
Mhm.
holding in this cancer in my body? And what's it trying to tell me? I know it's a messenger. What's
Mhm.
here? What do I need to know? So that was the first thing that I took that approach. And I think a lot of people don't even know that that is an approach that we can take, but I'm here to teach
Yeah.
people that it is if people feel called.
Mhm.
And so the next morning I went into this psilocybin journey on a solo journey. And I will say, just for the record, I don't recommend people to do that unless you absolutely have done already a lot enough work
A
and
lot of
shadow work and
work.
you know all the things that can come up and you know how to move yourself through things and all that. But
Mhm.
so I went into this journey and that was such a profound experience.
Mm.
And in that, I mean, there's so much that happened. And I'm starting my podcast called We Are the Medicine, and I'm going to talk about this in there and break it down in my book. But in the short, it was I received these messages from my soul, from spirit that said,
Mhm.
um, your mission is to teach people how to heal this, how to do this a different way. And you're
Mm.
here to teach people how to do this from the inside out.
Wow.
And I was like,
What?
I don't know how I was like, "Okay," but I was angry, like, all this anger came out, and I was mad at God, and I was like, "Why? Why
Mm.
this?" And I had to, like, process through all this
Yeah.
anger and shame and fear, and,
Mhm.
like, all these things started coming up, and then I was, like, kinda alchemizing pretty quickly in this journey and moving it out, and I could see so clearly, like, "Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's this path over here, it's really dark, it's really dark
Mhm.
and death, that's one option, and then I saw this path over here, and it's a really bright light, and I'm like, "What's over here? What's over here?" And I'm, like, talking to God out loud and in my house alone, and
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
and I'm like, "Oh, that's the route I wanna take," and it was always the clear,
Yeah.
like, "Well, you get a choice." You have a
Yep.
choice, like and I was like, "Well, this is my choice, I wanna take this choice," and it was like, "Well, this is your mission, do you accept this mission?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course, what else am I gonna do?" Right? I accept the
Yeah.
mission. And so my soul knew that my journey was gonna be different and that I was gonna do it differently than anyone else, and that there would be people that would
Mhm.
not understand it, and that my work was not to try to convince anyone else to understand it. My work was to follow my own soul and my own intuition. So
Mm.
and I could see so clearly, like, and I would hear my soul's spirit, God, like, all spirit guides saying, "Keep your eyes on the light, keep your eyes above the water," right? Like, so there's
Yeah.
gonna be these choppy waters, this choppy
Mhm.
stuff you're gonna have to walk through. There's gonna be steps, but you gotta keep your eyes here to where you're
Yeah.
going. And it brought me such profound peace, like a peace in my body that is otherworldly that I can't even explain, that was supernatural,
Mm.
that didn't even make sense for a breast cancer diagnosis, right? Cancer, and we can talk
Yeah.
about this too, but cancer can the energy and frequency of even that word carries so
Yeah.
much fear and death that
Mhm.
when people even get the diagnosis, it's like they're receiving all of that fear frequency and death frequency from the
Yeah.
word that we poured into it over the last like thousands of years. There's a whole thing with that energy frequency. But I was like, I'm not gonna take that on. Like, I'm not gonna take that on. I'm gonna do
Yes.
that's in me because I have fear in me. I do
Yes.
feel like that's part of even the creation of it. But I'm not gonna take on and absorb all that fear from everyone else, from the doctors, the
I love
nurses,
that.
family, whomever.
Mhm.
So anyway, it brought me a lot of peace and was like, okay, I got this. I know what to do. And I don't actually know what to do, but I knew that I just need to follow my soul. And spirit said, just well, you'll get step by step. There will be some steps. You just gotta follow through. You gotta come back here and remember this. Remember, keep coming back here because you will forget, because you're a human.
Mm.
When you forget, you come back here. When you forget, and it was just like,
Yeah.
oh, keep coming here, keep coming back to myself, back to this journey, back to this truth that was being felt on a felt sense
Mhm.
in my body.
Yeah.
And I also heard, no matter what the doctors say, no matter what the reports say, no matter what the scans say, no matter what the experts say,
Mhm.
that's old energy on those reports, on those
Mm.
scans. This is the
Yeah.
new energy and this is where you're going.
Yep,
So
yep.
So it's like, don't even listen to that. So I was like, okay, I'm not even gonna listen to that. So,
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
so
anyway, I'll pause there.
crazy.
But
No, it's just very interesting because this past week I've really been like drilled into. I mean, it's been over a while and it's something that people like always fight me on. And it's the idea that, everyone says that words hold frequency, just like you said. But I also think it's like the intention that we poured into the words and the meaning and that we've been conditioned to feel this word means this thing. But I also have a choice on how I'm going to receive it. So I can
yes.
be like, hell no, see you later. This is a good thing. I'm receiving it as a good thing.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
think we really
Yes.
forget the other side of the equation because you always have spiritual sovereignty, and that
Yes.
includes all the words and the spells that people are throwing your way.
Yes. And and depending on what we project onto it, it's like our projections onto it, right? So that word, that
Yeah.
diagnosis, we've projected all this fear and
Yep.
death onto it, is that's what that means. And so I can change the frequency of that word for myself, which is what I've
Exactly.
done, is that, oh, this is actually a messenger that has
Yep.
come to tell me where I'm out of alignment within
Mhm.
myself, within my body, what's still being, there's things being held in here that are still wanting to be released and let go of. There's ways I'm still suppressing myself that's taken
Mhm.
so much energy to hold down my voice and my power and my light that it's literally creating this mass in my body, in my heart, right? So in my
Yeah.
breast, which is heart chakra.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much there, but you're right. Like even the words that we say, we can change the frequency of the words, but depending on what we project onto it or what we say it means. So, yeah, true.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we get stuck on the fact that we've been taught that a word means a certain thing and it holds a certain frequency. But at the end of the day, I always go back to if I say I love you to my husband and I'm pissed at him, the energy that I'm putting into the I love you versus when I wake up and I just think he's the best thing ever and I say I love you are two very different frequencies, but they're the
Yes.
exact same words. Right? And
Yes.
he's also
Amen.
gonna receive them based on how
Yes.
he's feeling. Maybe I love him so much, but he's pissed at me for something that I don't know about. So he's still
Yes.
gonna receive that the wrong way,
Yes,
So
and it
it's
all goes
it's two
back to
sides.
yes, and
It
it all
all
goes
goes
back to
back to
everything is
energy.
energy, and energy can be transformed to whatever it is, right? So, yes,
Exactly, yes.
totally.
Yeah, so
So I made my
beautiful.
mind up really early that I am not going to take on the projections of that word from the outside world,
Yeah.
and I actually lost, I mean, everybody around me was like, "You
Mm.
need to go do this, you need to go do that, you need to go to surgery, you need to go to chemo, you need to go to radiation," and the doctors are like, "We gotta get you in with the surgeon, we gotta get you into chemo," and I remember sitting in the doctor's office, in the oncologist's office, and she started, like, throwing
Mhm.
this at me, and I literally was like, "Shh," like, I threw this shield over myself, like, this energetic
Yeah.
shield was like, "Shoo," like, I am not receiving that energy, like, that is not coming into my
Mm.
field, like, I'm not gonna absorb that, so
It's
anyway,
interesting,
yeah.
they've done studies on stage 4 cancer patients and the only thing that they had in common was that going into their last treatment, it wasn't that there was a commonality in treatments, but they went into it with absolute certainty that they were going to be okay. And I always say because I had cancer when I was 9, right? But I was a
Oh.
child, right? Like I was a child and I hadn't had enough conditioning to understand what these frequencies meant. And I always was like, I'm going to be fine. Like I might have felt like crap through the chemo and my mom may have put me through all this stuff, but I was like, I'm not going to die, you know?
So you
And that's
knew. There was
I
that inner
had
knowing.
the shield, right? Like, when you talk about the shield, I think I automatically went back to being this child that, like, knew I was gonna be fine, you know? And that
Yeah,
is truly
yeah.
the difference is being able to put that
Wow.
shield on and be like, "I no, what you're
Wow.
saying,
Yeah.
I'm not taking it."
Yeah. And, the other thing is, had I it was a whole process, but and in that journey, I also received certain steps to, like I did here, like, go to Mexico and work with Aya. She's a shamanic
Yeah.
practitioner, body worker, healer in
Mm,
Mexico, and
mhm.
so I heard certain things of go work with her, work with this person, reach out to this person. So I heard these certain things
Yeah.
to do and steps. And along the way, it was like it would just unfold. Like I would get another step and I'd say, okay, what's the
Yeah.
next step? And it was an unfolding, right? But
Mhm.
and I knew I was like, you know what, even if at some point for me in my journey, if at some point it is right, because I also didn't want to rule out anything. And I also didn't want to make any decisions from fear alone.
Mhm.
So I was like, if I am going to make a decision, I want to make sure fear is not making the decision. I want to feel the fear, move through the fear. And I knew enough to know how to like actually go into the fear and see where it's coming from, process and transmute that,
Yeah.
and then make a clear decision. So I just want to make sure I wasn't making decisions from fear. So if at some point my intuition said to do chemo or to do surgery or to do radiation, I would have done it. It's just like I didn't want to
Absolutely.
make any decisions from fear, any like rash
Yep.
decisions. And I didn't want to do any decisions that other people felt like I should do. I wanted to make sure it was coming from my own inner
From
knowing. So
yourself. Yeah.
when I did, yeah, it was just a whole journey. So that just didn't work. It wasn't for my journey.
Yeah.
I'm not here to tell people that that's not their journey. Like to say, don't do chemo, don't do surgery, don't do radiation. I'm here to say, listen to your own
To
intuition because
yourself.
your intuition knows, period.
Mhm. Mhm. It's beautiful and it's true. And I think that's where some spiritual gurus and just in general go wrong is that they're like, this is the only path. But really, the only path is how do you clear the way for your intuition?
Yes.
End of story.
Amen.
Because
Period.
for
And we
somebody,
can,
it will be chemo. For
amen.
other people's, it
Amen.
will not be. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I just want to mention real quick this. I actually found an integrative oncologist. I was like, I need to find an integrative oncologist who kind of gets this whole thing. And I ended up finding
Mm,
this integrative oncologist who or works in oncology and he's a medical doctor, but he also has a background in meditation and he's like
yeah.
trained in meditation and he's studied at the I think it's University of Arizona where Dr. Weil has the it's a center for integrative medicine. Anyway,
Mm,
so I was like, oh, he'll get this. So I went to see him and I told him, I was like, "You know what? I'm not feeling called right now to do surgery, chemo, radiation. If at some point I
yeah.
feel called to do that, I will. But right now, I just don't feel I know that there's some deep stuff here that I need to work through within
First. Yeah.
myself first."
Hmm.
And he said, "You need to read this book." He's like, "I believe in everything you're doing." He said, "I believe." I even
Mm,
talked about psychedelics. I was like, "There's just." He
yeah.
said, "I believe in all that you're doing." He said, "I also believe that we should do both. We should do the integrative approach and do the Western and the Eastern together." He's like, "But,"
Hmm.
he's like, "I believe in what you're doing, and you sound convinced that you know what you're doing." So
Yeah.
he was like, "Read this book," and he gave me this book called Radical Remission by Dr. Kelly
Hmm.
Turner. It's this doctor who researched like 1,000 people who had these radical remissions from cancer, and many of these people had been sent home to die. Like the medical system
Yeah.
was like, "There's nothing else we can do," prepare for death, and all these things, and they sent
Yeah.
home a hospice, and these people would have these miraculous recoveries and miraculous healing,
Mm,
and they're like 10, 15, 20 years out, and it's what we call in the medical field, like, a medical miracle, like, we just don't really understand
yeah.
it right. So and she studied what are the things that these people were doing. She's like, I want to know what, because she had lost people to cancer. She didn't specifically have her own experience with cancer personally, but she had lost family members to cancer and she was doing
Hmm.
this dissertation. And she was like, I want to know what these people are doing. What she found, there were these 10 things that she narrowed all these things down across all cultures, across all religions, across all
Mm,
health sectors, across all, like, whether it was conventional or alternative she
yeah.
narrowed it down to these 10 things, these 10 factors that all of these people were doing, and they were all doing all of them. And these 10 things, and I don't
Mm,
have them right in front of me, but I'll tell you. So 7 of them I was already doing in my work, in my practice that I actually train clinicians and coaches to do. Number 1,
yeah.
releasing repressed emotions. I believe that is one
Mm,
of the most important things. Number 2,
yeah.
increasing positive emotions like appreciation, forgiveness, gratitude, joy, fun, laughter.
Yes.
Another one sh and Dr. Kelly Turner, I was on a webinar with her at one point, she said, "This one is so important." They listen to their own intuition. They followed their own
Yes.
intuition about their own journey. That was one of the things. And then another one was being empowered in their own health journey, right? So, like, taking initiative, researching, taking
Hmm.
a forward approach in their own health instead of that whole, like, "Save me, doctor." You know what I'm saying? Like, "Save
Yes.
me, doctor." Like, I can save
Yes.
myself, kind of this empowered approach. And then
Hmm.
another one was social support, receiving social support from friends, family, people. Another one was, spiritual connection, whatever that was, any religion, just people that found some kind of spiritual connection to
Yeah.
something greater than themselves. And then
Hmm.
there was, what was the other one? Ah, anyway, there's like 7 of those, and then the other 3 were radically changing your diet. I mean, these are things we know, right? Like we know like all the processed food and all the things. So radically changing their diet,
Mhm.
adding herbs and supplements to their healing
Yeah.
regimen, and
Mhm.
exercise, like some kind of physical activity, like
Yeah.
whether that was walking to the stop sign and back,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
doing
yeah.
some yoga, or doing some running. Like it didn't matter. It was physical activity. So those 10 things. And I
Mhm.
thought, oh, I'm already doing most of these things. And I already have this belief. Oh, the other one I forgot was strong reasons for living. So, about strong
Mm.
reasons for living. Because truthfully,
Yeah.
some people are ready to go, right?
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah,
just the
yeah.
truth. And we're all going
It's
to
true.
go at some point. So
Yep.
some people just are ready to go. So the people who had those strong reasons for living, that was one of the 10 factors. And so these people that did these 10 things all had these radical remissions that were beyond our 3D understanding, right?
Yeah.
And I'm doing the right. For me, it was confirmation. It was like, yes, I'm on the right.
Yes.
I'm doing the right things. Just keep
Mhm.
doing these things, right? And I'm, of course, making tweaks. And of course, I'm like making and my intuition would say, try this supplement, like do this thing, right?
Yeah.
Functional mushrooms, like turkey tail. I heard Paul Stamets
Mm.
talk about his mom got breast cancer and he started giving her turkey tail twice a day and her breast cancer went away. And so I was like, okay,
Wow.
that's resonating for me. So I'm going to take turkey tail.
Mhm.
There's different things that would say, okay, that would come into my awareness and it would
Yeah.
be like, yes, do that.
Yes.
So there was all these things that I
Yeah.
did and it was like, and now I got the scans and it's literally shrinking and and going away. And I'm like, and
Mm.
I
You've not done any treatments? Like, you've not
no,
done any.
no, I didn't do
Yeah.
surgery. I didn't do chemo. I didn't do
Wow.
radiation. No, none of it.
You
It's
are
like
the
unheard
living
of. It's
proof.
like crazy. It's still even sinking in for me. It's still like integrating for me, but I know,
Yeah.
my soul knows, right? I mean,
Yeah. What do you feel like was the most powerful experience so far, the most powerful part of this healing journey?
oh my god, it's all so
All of it.
like it's all so powerful.
Yeah.
I will say the deepest thing, the overarching, I think, journey is journey to self-love.
Yes.
I
Radical
believe,
self-love.
yeah, because in that whole releasing repressed emotions piece, which I think is such an
Mm.
important piece, I know how much energy emotion holds, and I know how much we repress emotion as humans and how that shows up as physical
Yeah.
illness. And so there was a lot of repressed emotions still there, and I had done a lot of work, but there was a lot of like guilt and grief and actually
Mm.
ancestral. My mom's, it was so ancestral with my mom. It's the left side, which is the mother side. There's so
Yeah.
much tied there. But so all those repressed emotions, but also repression of self, right? Like my voice and my
Yes.
power and what I'm actually here to do. And so much fear to step
Mm.
into that. So it was
Mhm.
like my body saying, it's time to
Yeah.
let these old patterns fully go and really truly step into your power and really truly step into your voice and really truly step into what you're actually here to do in the world. And and so there's that. That's so powerful. But it's also like these parts of repressed self, not just emotions, but self, right? Like the parts of me that still felt unworthy or unloved or
Mhm.
unlovable or all I had to go like collect all those parts and show them you are fucking loved. Excuse my language, I curse.
No.
You are loved. We're loved no matter what. No matter what.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do or say or have or be or experience or that will make you unlovable. And that was such like that's just been such the journey that
Mm.
of self-love ultimately. So I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just the whole thing is just surreal.
It's so beautiful. It's kind of interrelated, but not. But when I first had that experience with Christ, I also felt this like overpowering love, like just like love that I was like, I have 4 children, you know? You'd think that I knew what love was, but until I, like, fully felt that immerse my entire spirit, I didn't really realize it, and it's also made me realize further down the road that, when we, quote, unquote, "sin," when we do something wrong and, like, and we create shame and all these things to Creator, to Source, to God, whatever we're calling it, it's like this beautiful like, it's just a way of remembering who we actually are
Yeah.
and how we are connected to the divine, and it's just like a step. So to creator, it's still beautiful and it's still so loved even when we fuck up in the biggest ways.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And being
yeah. Oh
able
my
to
god,
feel
right.
that, I'm like, "Okay." Like, every time I fuck up, big or small, I'm like, I can heal from that. I don't have to hold the shame.
Right. So a big piece of this was releasing guilt and shame, that was still kind of stuck in my body. That also, again, a lot of it was ancestral from my mother line and my father line. It's also been a deep healing of mother wound and father wound for me, like the deeper layers that I had not gotten to. Oh, sweet doggy. um, but yeah, there's just so much that's there and so much that I've uncovered, and it's been a journey into what I call a journey into the consciousness of cancer. And
Mm.
I'm here to teach the world what it actually is. Here's the thing, we
Yeah.
have this thing that we're supposed to fight it, the fight on cancer, right?
Mm.
And like, oh no, we've got that all wrong. Like our body is
Yeah.
already fighting itself. There's a part of me that's already fighting myself with
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Okay. Like
Yeah.
I gotta figure out where are those parts that's fighting me and fighting myself, wanting to die, like wanting to
Yeah.
harm me and kill me, actually, and take me out. Like, there was a whole part of myself too that I found that, like, actually wanted to die. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like finding it's like a messenger. Like, I don't know, like, I'm just here to teach the world that if you choose this route, there is another way. There is a way where we can look at this as a messenger and uncover
Yeah.
and unravel the messages that it has for me, for each
Yeah.
person.
It's interesting because I think at the end of the day, going back to the words not meaning, they mean what we allow them to mean. But somebody told me recently that cancer is just like repressed anger. And, like, that's how they saw it, but then I also, in this past life regression, like, I connected the dots on how and you wouldn't think, like, the nine-year-old and I was actually 8, I was about to turn 9, gave herself cancer, but once I realized the connection of the people in my past life and the connection of the people in my current life and how somebody that was very important to me finally came back to me in this life was now moving away and I was gonna lose them again, and that
Mhm.
happened right before I gave myself cancer.
Wow.
I was
Wow.
so angry and didn't allow myself to feel it.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
What a huge revelation, right? That's so wild. I think we can trace it all back to these emotional things in our lives often. Um, and I also think, yes, I had a lot of repressed anger still too. And I had processed a lot, a
Yeah.
lot of rage and anger, but there was a lot more still in there. And I was fucking
Yeah.
pissed. And there was like a lot. But yeah, and I mean, we if we think about it, all that, like, energy gets bottled up in the body and stuck there, and it's gonna create some kind of disruption in the energy
Mhm.
flow, right, and in the body, but, I also think I know I personally wanna be careful about saying, like, anybody else is causing anything for themselves or creating something for themselves. I'm speaking from my
Yeah.
experience, and my
I'm
experience
also
is that
speaking for mine. Yes.
because I don't wanna like, because we can get into victim blaming and that can create a whole whole 'nother thing, but for my experience, I know that there's a part of me that did create that, and I met her, and it's actually
Yeah.
multiple parts of me, but especially, like, this inner angry teenage self that was like, "Fuck the world, fuck everything,
Mm.
like, I don't wanna be here," you know? But,
Mhm.
and so for me,
Mhm.
I had to, like, process all of that stuff out, but, yeah, I think for each person, there can be similar things, but I think there's a message for us.
Yeah, and I mean, my being 9 years old and giving myself this, it was from a past life. So, like, for me to also be like, "Oh, well, I did give it to myself, but not consciously," you know? So it's not like I did it on purpose, you know? It wasn't like I didn't even know that I was that angry because the anger that was coming through wasn't even from this life, you know?
Right.
So
Yeah.
we like going back to, I think, sometimes we give ourselves things, but it's from wounds that we're not even consciously aware of. It could be
Oh,
generational. It could be like,
yeah.
it could be from a past life, you know? So, and I mean, this past life that was shown was from like the 500s, you know? Like it's
Yeah.
not even
Yeah.
remotely close.
Yeah, definitely
Um,
could be, so unconscious, so subconscious. Like, I don't think anybody would consciously say, "I wanna," "I wanna create
yeah.
this thing within myself or create this
Yeah. Yeah.
experience." But it's so subconscious, we have no idea. We don't realize how much of our lives are actually from our subconscious programming. But that's why I
Exactly.
think
Yeah.
doing that work is important to like go within and see what's in there. What is playing out in my subconscious? What is driving my
Yes.
decisions and my behaviors and my patterns in my life right now that I could probably shift if I did that work? But I think there's also like there's the physical, physiological components and the energetic and emotional and spiritual. And on a physiological, physical level, I can see where I wasn't at the time like taking proper care of my body and myself. And I
Mm,
was under tremendous amounts of stress before that, like going through COVID and a divorce and raising kids and running a business and doing a PhD, like all these things. I'm like, of course my body got shot out. Its immune
yeah.
system was shot, right? So
Yeah.
there's the
Yeah.
physiological stuff and then there's the emotional stuff that's tied in, all those repressed emotions and anger and generational ancestral stuff. And then, but also from a spiritual level, like I can zoom out and know my soul, that's like literally my soul said, oh, that's
I'm
part
gonna
of my,
do this.
I'm going to go do that. And I'm going to show people that we can do it a different way. So like, there's all these layers,
Mm,
of it, but, it's my soul's
yeah.
journey apparently.
It is your soul's journey. Yeah. That's so interesting and beautiful, when you start I feel like that's been one of the biggest things for me is like really realizing because I've been through some shit too. Like not even looking at the cancer, but just like relationships and other things that have just not been they've been toxic, right? Or like parenting that was like having a mother who's not very good at dealing with her emotions and then as somebody like yourself that's non-emotional you're taking on all these emotions as well from other people, right, when you have that open solar plexus. And
Yeah.
I remember one of the first revelations that I had was I remembered choosing this. I remembered choosing these like big toxic relationships in my life because it allowed me to feel such anger and such emotion that wasn't even mine that I then chose to become the safe container that holds it.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. I love that. I love that. I do think on some level that we're all like, "Oh, I wanna go experience this thing as a human and go experience this thing as a human." And it's like, "Oh, it's all just part of being a human." And it's
Yeah,
so
the hardest
crazy
part
how
is forgetting because we cross over here and then we
wow,
forget that we
yeah,
chose and we get
no, and
stuck in
yeah.
the 3D.
We're like, "What the heck?" And then even when we remember, we're still like, "What? Why would I choose this? Like, what the hell?"
Yeah.
But I just like, it's gotten to where it's like, it's just all a fun journey to me. I mean, it sounds a little crazy, but it's like, "Oh, okay, I realized, like, so many things, and I've cleared so much stuff." I'm like, "Okay, now I just get to consciously create. What do I wanna consciously create
Yes.
right now in my
Yeah.
life, and how can I make it the most fun and joyful that I can possibly be?" That was also one of my things when I got the diagnosis. I was like, "Okay, how can I go through this seemingly biggest, heaviest, darkest thing that a human can experience in the human body," right? When you research
Mm.
everything physical, what's happening, the worst case scenario is always cancer, 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 right? Like you Doctor
It is,
Google's
yeah.
always gonna take you to cancer. I got headaches, I got a leg ache, da da da. Well, it could be
Cancer.
cancer.
Yeah.
And interestingly, I was a cancer nurse for years and actually gave chemotherapy. So I was well equipped, like with all of
Wow.
the sides of knowing. I was like, oh, it was all a perfect journey. I went and got that
It
experience. So I went and got that
was.
side of it. And then I got
Mhm.
this experience. So I know that side of it. And I'm
Mhm.
a well informed client. Like I'm
Yes.
informed. So
Yes.
of the risks and benefits of all the things. But
Mhm.
when I got the diagnosis, I was like, how can I go through this thing that's so
Mm.
big and heavy, heavy and dense and dark? And how
Mhm.
can I move through this with so much presence and so
Yeah.
much awareness and also make it the most joyful, amazing
Mm.
fucking experience that I've ever experienced in my life. So that was like
Yeah,
part of
yeah.
my challenge to myself is like, how can I move through this thing and it just be so amazing?
Yeah, well, that's also the thing, right? Like, because you had to find you also can't disassociate, right?
Right.
So you have to find this, like, middle ground where you're, like, one foot is up in the clouds enjoying the process of how you're connecting to your inner self and being led down the path that's gonna get you out of here, but then the other foot has to be on the ground. It has to be in the 3D and being like, "Okay, I'm aware that this is happening." And how do you find the middle ground? Because
Yes.
if you completely dissociate, then we're not clearing the shadows.
Right. And that's what created it sometimes in the first place, because I'm dissociating from my body, dissociating from my emotions, dissociating from my authentic self, right? Dissociating from all the things that could have that helped create it. So I know, oh, I can't deny or dissociate or look away. That's what actually helped create
Yeah.
it. But I have to look at that person who did create look away. And there was a lot of shame there
Yeah.
too. There was some shame in there of, oh my God, I let this happen. I didn't go get like checkups or follow-ups, and how did I avoid this? And there was shame of, oh my God, I created this, I caused this. How did I
Mm,
do this? How can I do this
mm,
work? How could this happen?
yeah.
And like in that journey, that first journey, it was like, this is the only way you could see this part of you. It was
Yeah.
like, this is the only way that you could see all this in here
That you would
and
let
get
yourself
to these
see.
parts that were so rejected,
Mm,
so
yes.
buried, so exiled.
Yeah.
And it was like, "Oh." And then this light came down and shined down on me
Mm,
and all these avoided parts of me and these parts of me that were in the dungeons wanting to die. And it was like,
yeah.
"Oh, literally, this is the only way I could see these parts of me." So there was instant gratitude in that moment of, "Oh my God, this is the only way it could have been. This is what led me here
Mm,
to you, this part of me, and I'm holding this part of me that's like half dead,
yeah.
bones, looks like ancient bones, like, I'm gonna breathe you back to life. Like, I'm gonna
Mm,
love you back to life, you know?" And so and I'm like, "Okay, so all the shame went away." It's like, even in
yeah.
avoidance and dissociation, there's a part of me that's trying to help me and save me and keep me safe, right? So it's all benevolent.
Yes.
It's all benevolence.
Yes.
But it was like, anyway, I had to go through that whole release of shame of there was this avoidant part, but now it's like, now I can't look away. Now it's like I have
Yeah.
and one of my teachers, one of my energy healing teachers, one of my subtle energy teachers, Dr. Yvonne Chrisman, I want to say her name. She would say, um, face everything, avoid nothing.
Yes.
But when you face it from a place of loving compassion, right? And
Mm,
not persecution, shame, and all the things,
yes.
because we also can get into that. So it was like, okay, I gotta face this. I can't look
Mm,
away now. Like, I need to see
yeah.
this and see all of this and all of me and all the parts of me that are still hiding, that are still running, that are still, you know, all the things. So it's all just a beautiful journey. And it sounds crazy to people maybe when I say that, but it is. And
No.
I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, and that's the work that you have to do in life is like facing yourself and the way people call it, like judging yourself in a way, but it's not judgment, it's through love and compassion. And what I've really been shown several times is that when we pass, like that's what we're doing. We're so scared that God or creator is going to judge us, but it's actually ourselves that will be able to see every aspect of ourselves from the eyes of creator, which is like all, right? So then you have to decide, can I live with that or can I not? And that's how you kind of get spit back in or into what your next path is, what your next
Yeah.
lesson is, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's just all an amazing
It's all
journey.
Playground.
It
It's a
is.
playground. And when
It's
you
all a
realize
journey
that,
within.
yeah,
And
yes, and it
also the
is very
saying,
beautiful.
as within, so without, right? Like as below, so above. Everything's a mirror and a reflection. And
Everything. Yeah,
yeah.
it is so true. And
So
it sounds
yeah.
like your identity has definitely
Oh,
shifted through this
definitely.
process. Do you feel like it's also shifted in the way you coach and the way you,
Oh God. Totally. 100%. Yes.
yeah.
Oh God. So many shifts, so many identity shifts. And I don't like
Like looking
so
back,
many.
is the Liz from was it May 2004 the same as the Liz here? Or how many
Yeah.
Liz's have there been in between?
Oh God, so many. Just even in this year and a half process of healing cancer, there's been so many deaths and rebirths. And I'm like, oh my God, there's a part of me
Yes.
dying. There's a part of me dying. Like I went to Mexico after a few weeks after the diagnosis last summer, July. I went to Mexico for 3 week deep intensive. And in that 3 weeks, I was doing this deep intensive work with these two shamanic practitioners and all this inner work and body work and energy work. And I did an 8 day silent retreat and a 4 day
Mm,
fast in that, and there was, like, a sweat lodge
wow.
and all these things, and I swear, I was like, "I think I died there."
Mm,
I mean, multiple times, like, there was one point I was laying on the ground, in Mexico, in the mountains, out in the middle of nowhere, no cell phone service, and I was like, "I think I'm gonna die here, and I'm never gonna see my kids
Yeah.
again, and I'm nobody's gonna even know where I am."
Mm.
And nobody speaks English, like, I was the only English speaker. Well, there was a couple people, actually, one of the facilitators or one of the ladies that was there, she spoke English and she had to translate everything for me, but, 'cause I don't speak Spanish,
Wow.
and I was, like, put there to die, old versions of me
Wow.
to die, like, it's so much. Anyway, and
Yeah.
I came face to face with a rattlesnake, like, literally laying on the
And
ground
you're
in the woods and looked up and there's this rattlesnake hissing at me, rattling at me, and it's like a whole thing. So I did that, and then in
wow.
these psychedelic journeys, multiple of them, I was like, I think I just died. Like because here's the thing,
Yeah.
I had to go so into any fear of death that I had
Yeah.
and alchemize that.
Mhm.
Any fear of like, I had to go into fear of death, I had to go into fear of leaving my kids early, leaving this life early,
Yes.
leaving my body, living in a decrepit body, not fulfilling my purpose. I had to go so deep into
Mm.
all of those deep fears, fear of whatever,
Mhm.
everything, fear of living, fear
Yeah.
of dying, and had to, like, literally, like, alchemize it, like and
Mhm.
so I feel like
Mhm.
I died many times in this just year,
Yeah.
but then there's been multiple deaths. I think we as humans go through these processes of death and rebirth all the time. We just don't notice it or call it that.
Yes, I agree completely. I think it's like micro deaths every single day. Every time
Yes.
you alchemize anything, every time that fear comes in, you're like, no, that's silly. Why am I fearing that? And you actually alchemize it. There's a death every moment.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, totally, 100%. And I say that too about kinda like, I say this is my 3rd awakening, like a really big 3rd awakening in my
I
life.
would say it's pretty big.
It's really big. But I think we have awakenings every day, hundreds of
Yeah.
awakenings throughout life, and it's just becoming more aware, right, of who we are, and
Yeah.
that's to me, that's what awakening is becoming aware of who we are as a human person and as a spiritual being, right? So but this was like the big a big a big one, the
Definitely
3rd
a big.
awakening, because I had these 2 other one was when I went to training school when I was 17 and got arrested, and that set me on a path of
Mm,
healing. That was my 1st awakening. 2nd awakening was, when I went into the hypnotherapy in 2016 and cracked me wide open, and all this, like,
yeah.
rage came out of me, and this inner child work started, and then this is, like, the deeper layers. I like to describe it as like a
Mm,
house, like, you clean your house,
yeah.
right? You clean your closets out, your closets are full of junk, and you pull all the things out of the closet. That's kinda like the first layer of cleaning
Mhm.
out stuff, and then there's the attic. You go up in the attic, and there's all this stuff up there, you start cleaning that out, and then you go to the basement. That's a deeper level. That's kinda like the shadow work, going deeper into what's in my subconscious, what's in here, and I feel like the
Yes.
work I did prior to the diagnosis was the basement level,
Mm. But it
and
was
then
needed first, you know?
oh, totally. Oh, you can't even get to those other levels
Yeah.
until you dig down. You can't even get to those until you've done that. Like, there's layers.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
this to me was like the subfloors beneath the basement that I didn't even know were there. And it's like, oh, that's a
Yeah.
dungeon. There's a dungeon down there beneath the basements that
Mm.
I didn't even know. And it's like, oh, there's all this stuff in here. So
Yes.
so that's been the
Yes.
journey, and we only it's only us, it's me, I'm getting to know me more,
Yeah.
you know?
And that is beautiful. And getting to know you more, I feel like you get to know the people around you more. You just didn't even
Uh,
realize it. Yeah.
and you
So
understand
beautiful.
humanity more.
Yeah.
When I can understand me more, I can understand others more and humanity more, and when I can have more love and compassion for me, I can have more love and compassion for humanity?
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the biggest things for me is going down this journey. And then when somebody triggers me because like I think they're doing something quote unquote evil, I realize like I can now like alchemize and figure out the part of me that actually would have led to that huge astronomical physical projection of the same wound. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I see where they're coming from. And then all of a sudden I hold love for this person because I'm able to hold love for that tiny wound that's like in the sub basement, like you said.
Yes. And when you do that, it's like clearing it for the collective also. And I think
Mm,
we do it for ourselves because we also can get into the whole savior complex where we're giving, 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 and over giving
yeah.
and under like this was part of this too, is over giving and not receiving and not have
Yeah.
energetic boundary there. But
Yes.
But when we do that for ourselves and you go in and say, where's the part of me that could create that or feels that or is triggered by that or
Yes.
whatever, or could some in some potential timeline create the same thing and let me bring love and healing to that part of me.
Yeah.
That's like sending that out into the quantum realms and doing it for everybody. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I think that's where people get it wrong, right? Like, especially, I mean, obviously, I'm down like the Christian path, not as a Christian, but as trying to expose how, we've been indoctrinated not to actually look within when that was literally the entire teaching. But, um, that's that judgmental thing. Like, people are always pointing at the devil in someone else. And I think that's also the externalization. Like, the same people that are not willing to find the God within are also not willing to look at the devil within. You really have to do both.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. And you can tell the ones who've done that work and who haven't because yeah, and it's okay. Everybody's on their path. There's a million paths up the mountain, right? I believe that there's a million
I
paths up
believe
the
that.
mountain and that we're
Yeah.
all walking each other home on some level. And we're
Yep.
all going to get there at some point. It's
Yeah.
just, we're just on different legs of the journey.
Yep.
But there's people who only will see the light and only will see the love and only will see the goodness. And that's great. That's beautiful. We have to see that. Like we need to be in touch with that. And that's beautiful. But there's a lot of spiritual bypass in that, right? Of,
There's a
oh,
lot.
that's not me
Yes.
over there. That's not me. You can, the ones who have done that work that can actually see everything's a reflection of me. And I can see how and where and when this could or would or has been in me. And I can actually alchemize that for myself.
Mhm.
That is such a deeply liberating place to be. And,
Yeah.
and it's like, I don't know, and it's okay that some people aren't there and can't do that yet, but it's so clear to me that, oh, this the collective consciousness is actually just a reflection of humanity's consciousness and everybody who makes that up, which I am included in that, but I get to choose how I show up in it. Um, and what I
Yeah.
actually, and there's energetic boundaries and all the things, but yeah, I just think it's profound to do that work, that deep shadow work, to see that everything outside of me is actually a projection and is in me also,
Yeah.
or somehow it's connected, right? Anyway.
Yeah. It's interesting because I had someone say that to me, like that all because I'm at the point where like I can find the love and I can alchemize it quickly, right? I can find that wound, feel with love and compassion, heal it and alchemize it. But I met somebody who's kind of at the point where they're seeing like a very stark difference in like the dark and the light. And they were like, oh, well, they said exactly what you said, because some people are meant to just see the light. And I was like, well, that's actually not really what my soul's path is, because I've literally had cancer. Been in toxic relationships. I've allowed them to teach me how to alchemize the situation and the energy. Um,
Right.
and so I think you can also get stuck in that feeling that I'm just here to feel both. But
Yeah.
actually in feeling both, you're here to learn how to alchemize it back into source, which is love.
Yes.
Right, and when we
Yes.
get stuck in that duality as well, then we can't, like, and I think the end goal really is source is that non-duality, like that original source, if you look at it like the Big Bang or whatever, being everything is one and everything is love, and then the duality splitting off to that, eventually splitting off to us being just fractals of it, right?
Yeah.
And in
Yeah.
all beautiful different journeys, all millions and billions of journeys
Yeah.
back to source, back to non-duality. But you have to feel duality, and you have to be able to allow yourself to be taught to alchemize it back into love.
Yes. Yes. Oh, and it's such a such a journey of like alchemizing, integrating. A friend and I were talking about this the other day about like just the integration of it because what I found through this cancer journey for myself was that and I've known this for a while, that there's this split within me. And I kind of started working on this when I started the inner child work and somatic work through hypnotherapy and breath work. But that
Mhm.
there's this split, very active split that's like the duality, right? And I've learned like
Yeah.
it's the masculine, feminine, it's the dark and light, it's
Mhm.
the duality, it's the good and bad.
Yeah.
It's I want to be here, I don't want to be here. I want to be a human, I don't want to be a human. This place sucks, I love it. Life sucks, I love life. Like, but it was
Yeah.
so like I want to be in a relationship, I don't want to be in a relationship. I'm avoidant, but I'm very afraid of fearful avoidant, the disorganized. I want to be in a relationship, but I'm afraid of relationship. I want to be, but I'm afraid of abandonment. Like this constant like split. And I've been healing through this for a long time through like shadow work and all of that. But this was like the ultimate what I call integration of that, and I had to go into, like, deep father wound,
Yeah.
mother wound stuff and all this stuff, but what
Yeah.
I'm learning is, like, just the integration of it, that it's all love, it's all one, it's all,
Yeah.
and I don't need to be over here or be over
Be over
here.
there.
I can
Yeah.
just be, and be all of it. Be the human, be the soul, be the spirit, be the all the things, and feel
Yes.
all the feelings, and also know that my soul lives forever, and just feel the stuff that's happening in this journey, and also create, and know that I'm still probably creating from a subconscious place at times, but, like, it's the
Yeah.
integration, that it doesn't even have to be so hard and difficult, which was one of my core beliefs, that life is hard, and parenting is
Yes.
hard, and making money is hard, and life has to be hard, and, so it's like, I don't know, it was a huge integration of that, but ultimately knowing that it's all love, and it's all one, and it's all connected, and it's all God, and it's all, it's
Yes.
mind F, you know?
Yeah. I mean, looking at it from a neuroplasticity point is like you're just literally rewiring your brain to find the love every
Yeah,
time, right?
yeah.
I know you used to pull cards, right? Am I
Yeah, I do,
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like what I have done recently to rewire that even further is I start my day and I pull one card after, like, I do my morning routine is yoga for the body, and then I do kundalini yoga for like the unity of duality, right? And then I do a little bit of meditation, then I pull a card. And when I pull a card, I always ask, show me how easy it can be.
Oh, I love this.
And then that is the card, and I will try, and even if it's like a bad card, I'm like, okay, how do I find the good? How do I integrate this and see it through love and compassion?
I love that. I love that so much, and that's kind of my new type of integration of that, like, it gets to be easy, right? I
Yeah.
have a friend or a person in my life who used to say that. Actually, he had his Alexa every morning say, "Show me how good it can be, universe." Like, actually had Alexa say that
Yeah.
time in the morning or whatever. "Show me how good it can be,
I
universe,"
love
or something
that.
like that. Or, "Universe, show me how good it can be." And so, like, that's
Mm.
actually part of this healing too, is that, okay, it doesn't have to be so hard. Like,
Yeah.
that's so much of our programming, is so much of my family's programming, my lineage. Like, I came from deep poverty, both sides. Like, it's
Mm.
so much of the programming, and in the collective. Like, there's so much
Yes.
scarcity in the collective, and just from all the war we've created and all the things that we've created as humanity. Um, but we can shift that. Like, we can shift anything,
Yeah.
right? So, like, my
Yeah.
new way of being is that it doesn't have it gets to be easy, and I get to breathe and relax my nervous system when I notice I'm
Yes.
clenching, and I notice I'm, like, day to day in the hard energy. I get to relax
Yeah.
my nervous system, my body, and breathe and say, "Actually, it gets to be easy," you know? So,
Yeah.
yeah, so
I
that's
I
good.
love
You're
that.
we're helping change that paradigm.
We are, yes. One breath at a time.
Yeah, I
If
love
you
that.
if somebody's listening to this today, what would you say to someone, and it doesn't have to be about cancer or anything, but is someone that's really facing fear in their body right
Mm.
now?
Yeah, so fear is a really big one, and there's so much fear on this planet and in our bodies and our psyche and in the collective. Um, but what I know is that we can transform fear, and that we can actually transform fear into love,
Yeah.
and even things like joy and laughter and fun. Um, and we get so stuck in fear in anything, right? But the answer is not outside of us. It's not outside of
Mm,
you. It's inside. The answer is inside. So you have to go inside. You have to go actually into, my opinion is, into the fear and see, what is the fear? Where is it in my
mhm.
body? What am I afraid of? What, like, and see what it's connected to, and just breathe and call in your, whatever your higher power is, whatever your
Mm.
connection is, whatever, and breathe through it, feel through it until you feel peace, because we can
Yes.
literally transform fear into peace, love, and joy.
Yeah.
But it's within. It comes from within. It's never out. We can't reach out. We can try to reach outside ourselves. We can't try to fill the void and fill the fear with people, places, things. And those things and people, places can bring us a sense of peace and joy sometimes, right? But
Yeah.
ultimately, it's in here. So,
Yeah. I think that's where people go wrong is like you can find the peace, like let's say it's in a church, or you can find a peace with somebody that you really love, whether it's a relationship or it's a friendship. But then you come back home
mhm.
alone and you lose the you really need to be cultivating the peace within yourself
from within.
and from within, right. Um, and I don't know if you've ever read A Course in Miracles, probably not, but
I have. I've actually done,
yeah,
like, classes here and there, on it and have it's a dense, big read. I haven't read like,
it
I've read
is.
bits and pieces of it, yeah,
It
and
is a
different
very dense read,
courses.
and I think what it's missing is the feminine, and I think that's where, like, you get it wrong, right? It's channeled through a psychologist, and what you're getting from it is a psychologist's point of view that didn't allow herself to fully feel.
Mm,
And so
yeah,
definitely I agree, there is a density to it, but and I think that's the with everything, if we're trying to, like we're always trying to conform ourselves to somebody's path, and really, you need to cultivate your own path within, right?
yeah,
And the same thing that's missing the feminine. I have in this process, I can feel energy. And so when I'm reading a text, I can feel like the underlying frequency underneath, whether it's fear or love. And so then I can taught myself to feel the pieces that are just love and to feel and alchemize the pieces that are just fear. And
yeah,
the truth is, I've yet to pick up one book, like one sacred text that it's been like, okay, this is it. This is the be all end all.
yeah,
And oh, that's where I was going with that. In that, the Course in Miracles, it talks about how until we have, it doesn't phrase it this way, but until we've created the kingdom within, right? Until you've actually gone inward and you are everything that you need to be, we continue to look for God in relationships,
yeah,
right? And whether it's like finding that person that creates peace for you in the moment or not, like you can't even fully feel what you're meant to feel with these people in your life until you can find that within.
yeah. Oh, so much goodness there, yes, and we're made to be connected and co-regulate and all that, right, with other humans, but you're right, we don't get the full it's not the full extent until it comes from within. And what happens when those people leave, right? Because the truth
Yeah.
is, those people leave sometimes, and people leave or die, unfortunately, and so
Yeah.
relationships end sometimes, and so what do we do then? This is why it's important to cultivate that from within and know that it's in here. So wherever
It
I
is
go
in
and
there.
whoever I'm around or who's
Mhm.
not around or whoever leaves me or doesn't leave me or who's here, I still have this in me. I'm still connected. I'm still connected to love. I'm still loved, right? And then the other thing,
Yeah.
there's this old, I don't know if this is like it's a proverb or what. Like it's where people say, they said, where are we going to hide God on the earth? Where are we going to hide God where
Mm.
people, and somebody said, "Hide him in the human heart because they'll never look there." So it's like this game we play with ourselves of where is God? God's out here. Da, da. And actually, if we just turn inward and look
God
at
is within.
our heart, God is within us all, right? And without, and in everything. But like this is the place
Yeah.
to look is
You got to
within.
find him, her source here first. Yes.
Yeah, within it, and yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's within and without. But it's
I
like,
don't know.
but
That's
it's,
the paradox.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't think you fully see it without until you're within, right? Because you should be able to see it in everything, right? In
Yes.
every moment, in every person, in every being, in everything. And that ironically, not ironically, paradoxically means also in in what we call a negative, right? In
Yeah.
cancer,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
And yeah, and I think another piece we miss is ourselves. Oh, I am that included in that because some of us too
Yeah.
that are in the healing fields are all about giving, 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 and loving and connecting and compassion for everyone else, but we don't have that for ourselves or don't receive that same love or compassion for ourselves. And
Mm,
it's like uneven, it's unequal, it's not a full perception of compassion if you're excluded from
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, yeah, if somebody is listening and they want to work with you, how can they work with you?
Okay, so I'm in the middle of, like, making a lot of shifts and changes, kinda in a transition
Because
in
you're
my
a new
business.
person.
So I'm a new person. I'm a new person, and so I'm changing some things. Right now, I still have a training available, so I have where I train clinicians and coaches because I think it's so important for more people to do this work, and I can't
Yes,
see
for
everybody
themselves
and people
and for
there's a
others.
lot of people out there doing this work, but not enough yet.
Yeah.
So I train clinicians and coaches. If someone works with people in any realm or like healthcare, mental health, even in the metaphysical world, yoga teachers, sound healers, Reiki healers,
Mm,
if you want to learn to do this deep inner work through hypnotherapy, breath work, somatic work, emotional healing, inner child healing, I have a training. It's just 6-month training. The next one starts in January. It's all
Amazing.
virtual except there's an in-person retreat. So we're learning how to do this work with each other. And you come into the container and you're actually doing your own work. We're healing your abandonment wounds. We're healing your
Mhm.
attachment wounds. We're healing your father wound, your mother wound, your trauma, your emotional, all your
Mm.
things because we're doing it with each other. And that's how
All
we
the
learn.
juicy stuff.
Yeah, it's really, really good. It's transformative. I tell people now, like,
Yes.
don't come into it unless you know you're ready for a life change because, because
Yeah,
you're
because
gonna,
you're also not gonna be the same person at the
no,
end.
you're not the same person leaving that you are coming in. And some people know they want that. It's a soul calling. So that's a
Yeah.
training that starts in January, 6 months. And then I also now have this program starting in January for anyone with cancer or any chronic disease or autoimmune disease or anything with the physical body that
Mm.
they want to heal. And we're going to do this work. We're going to do
Love that.
like breaking down guilt, processing shame out of the
Mm.
body, fear out of the body, all these emotions, plus just really tuning into the body and reconnecting to the body. We do like self body massage and all these body practices where we are listening to our body, reconnecting to the body to see what is my body telling me, and what are the messages for me that I need to know. So we're starting to
Yeah.
unravel all the things, doing the work that I've done.
Yeah.
So teaching people how to do that, writing new contracts with life,
Oh.
like seeing the parts of me that don't want to be here and like really bringing them into love and compassion and just really doing a lot of inner child work. It's just all of
Mm.
that. So that's a 3-month program. It's kind of like a beginner program. And then there's
Yeah.
more after that if you want to. That's 2 big things. Every year well, this will be my second We Are the Medicine event that's gonna be in the summer. I
Oh,
gotta get a date for that, but it's an all-day healing event for anyone who wants to come and experience, like there's different breakout rooms. There's, like, inner child healing, there's rage release, there's guilt
wow.
processing, there's grief processing. So I have that coming up in the summer, but there's a lot of different things that are coming. So my website is gowithininstitute.com. And then that's my name on
Beautiful.
Instagram and Facebook, Go Within Institute.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for showing
Yeah.
everyone what it looks like to actually meet those dark, hard moments with grace and presence
Mm.
and truth, right?
Yeah, yeah, truth. We had lots of truth in there that I had to look at that
Mhm.
that was
A
not
lots of
pleasant.
truth that none of us want to look at, right?
Not pleasant
Yeah.
truth.
So it's,
Yeah. Oh, there's a
I
lot in there. Yeah,
know.
yeah. Thank you for having me. This was amazing. Thank you, Jesse, and thank you for the work you're doing in the world. Keep going.
Thank you. Your story is truly a mirror. It's medicine, and it's a reminder to all of us that the power to heal actually lives within us. So thank you, everyone, for
Yes.
joining us. I love you, and I'll see you in the next spiral.
Thank you, Jesse. Bye
And
bye.